that we kind of did with that workshop, where we were doing a little bit more building, since it's kind of like hard to do that because it takes time. So we just got to like doing like brainstorming and whiteboarding where you come up with the architecture. So that way, again, it was able to use as a pipeline generation tool, because it allowed us to identify the use cases the salespeople didn't know before. Now you know that there is a need for it. You can go attack it more specifically and try to close the deal. And it also allowed us, people, especially developers, because there is a different mentality when you're talking with tech people, and I'm sure you've done your share that you see different personality types. So those guys are very skeptical. They want to do it themselves, get a little bit more hands-on, and once they like it, I mean, then they're going to be a bit better advocate for the product. So the idea was give them a taste of it, and now let's get into a bit more like whiteboarding, get the intel from them about the use cases. So.
All right. And these two programs, these were implemented just in your region, or I mean, did you
This
did
is a
these
company-wide thing. This is a company-wide
company-wide
thing.
thing? All
So
right.
these two programs have been now implemented actually all around the world now. So in Japan, in Australia, in Europe, and also in what is that? Asia Pacific. I don't know about Latin America, but all of these ones, they have been actively being used. They're still being used. So.
This is a really good accomplishment. So the app innovation was the one that you co-designed, right? But the Hiroko one, is that your own initiative, or did you
That was
kind of
my
like?
initiative. Yeah, that was like initially my initiative, and I did the initial designing, and then we got some help from one of the Heroku specialists to give it a little bit more taste. But I was the main leader on that.
All right. So
And
these are
yeah,
good
and
examples.
sorry,
Yeah.
just one thing that came to mind also, I just want to throw it out before I forget. Now, once we created these programs were actually now owned by our marketing team. These are not
All right.
run by the sales team. Now they have taken ownership by the marketing team. So they put the money, they put the whatever they kind of need to put behind it. And we are just the execution arm of it. So they liked it so much, they saw so much success that it's being done. And it's even being converted. There's been like now a flurry of workshops that have originated out of it. Some of the ones that I participated, like that Camp Innovation, that was a program that I helped design in 2016 for the Dreamforce piece of it. To this day,
All
there
right.
is a different variation still being used at Dreamforce. And then there are like 3-4 different other types of programs or workshops that kind of originated from this. I did not design them, but people like got inspired from these two, and they came up with other ones like integration and some of the other ones. So,
All right.
so
All
it's
right.
been a
That's
good,
interesting.
yeah.
So, since you're talking about this Dreamforce Camp Innovation Program, tell me more about this, because I feel that this is a good, again, initiative.
So in
Did you take this
2016,
initiative on your own?
no, so I was part of it. So this program was actually run by our senior director at that time, the Camp
All
Innovation one.
right.
It was divided into 3 sections. So the first section was like more of like you come in, you listen to a presentation. The second piece was like building the application, and third piece was sharing the application. How do you do the sharing part of it? That's the part I designed. So
All
I
right.
worked with the marketing team. I worked on the logistics because they gave us $250 to pull it off. So those guys rented a bunch of iPhones, and we got a bunch of stands. I even bought a few things off Amazon, like mics and things like that.
All
And a
right.
bit of testing, and then we figured out how we're gonna take the videos and save them and use them. So I think we had close to 200 people that came over that in that share that actually came in and shared their experiences, if I remember that right. I think 200,
Right.
no, I think it was like 130, sorry, 130,
Mm,
140, somewhere,
mm,
somewhere between that. So, yeah.
mm. And the impact again, how were you able to use this particular program to drive success?
So, I mean, it was a program to help generate awareness about the platform. And at
Mm,
Dreamforce, people have a choice to go and do a lot of different things, but they
mm,
actually came in and chose and learned about the platform. And
mm,
I don't have the visibility into like how much it resulted into sales. Um, so we did the first one in 2016, and it is still going, and it
mm.
has also been added to Trailhead DX, part of
All
it,
right.
which is another conference we do, which is a more developers-centric conference. So
Mm,
I'm sure they have seen enough success that they want to pursue this, and it's going to happen again at Dreamforce this year. They have been
mm,
changing or and tinkering with it, but the main idea kind of like remains the same. But
mm.
what they have tried to do, they tinker with it, so it's not remain exactly the same program. They have been changing. But after 2016, I've participated, like help execute it, but I haven't been part of like designing it. Um,
Right.
because other people wanted more credit, so higher ups. So,
Okay, okay, that makes sense. So, these are some good examples that we have here that show your kind of like leadership and technical expertise as well. You have also been the MVP award winner for 2018, second quarter 2018, and then for two quarters in 2017. Again, what particular initiatives were you did you receive these nominations and these awards for these
so
programs?
yeah, for these programs, one was for app innovation workshop, like evangelizing that.
Right.
The couple of them that I got the MVP award that was for Heroku Innovation Workshop, and
Mm-hmm.
I also got a star performer, which is not the MVP. I mean, there are a bunch of star performers, but then only four are chosen to be MVP. So I got that again in 2019 for this year.
So
Um,
star performer would be due to your would be a more personal award, right? Personal
no,
achievement.
it is. All of these are like personal awards, but
Yeah,
these are
but
like based on the performance that you're doing. So the
yeah.
star performer was I got it because I was also doing the team lead role because I was just
Mhm.
thrown in the in March, and I was able to like pick up the responsibility really quickly because my boss was getting like overwhelmed. Um, so I was able to like help out, take some of those
So
responsibilities while doing my job. Yeah.
so why were you given the team lead role? As in, was there an emergency there? Because you mentioned that you were thrown into the role in the middle of things, because that could count as
Well,
an accomplishment.
yeah. So one of the things is, and I think you just need to be delicate when you're going to be putting in resume because I don't know, this could end up at my with my boss too. You never know. So
Oh, no, no, no. We are not going to trash talk about any of the bosses or any. That's a strict no-no policy. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you can share it with
absolutely.
me. Definitely, I'll see how to word that.
So let me give you a little bit of background and just tell me when you're reaching the time,
All right,
because I have a bad habit. I'm in sales, so I just keep on talking.
all right, no, no, it's fine.
So here's the deal. So one of the things that I started talking with my boss last year around like December, January was, okay, so what is my career progression?
All right.
So one of the options is, okay, you go become a manager, and the second
Mm-hmm.
option is you become a technical architect. So
All
technical
right.
architect is you keep on doing the same role, but you're getting involved in like bigger deals and talking to executives, and you get a promotion, and that's pretty much it. And that's what that role is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the second option was management track. So in that case, I mean, you can go pretty high up. You're not just stuck at the director level. I mean, because the next promotion from my level is the director level. So these TAs, master SCs, are actually directors in their pay grade. So the next option was like management. So I actually took a while to think about it. So one day my boss asked, okay, what are you going to be doing? Do you want to pursue the management track or you want to do the TA track? So I did my talking with a bunch of people and I end up deciding, okay, I want to do this. So he said, okay, I need somebody to start helping me out because what was going on, he has 9 or 10 people and there was always something going on. And these guys also have additional responsibilities like coming up with these programs, running other stuff. And that was becoming I mean, he was running out of time. So helping somebody from an ops perspective, I mean, it was good for him. So I was able to pick up those responsibilities. So in March, I mean, he talked to his boss. So just keep in mind this team lead title. It's not a HR title. This is more of an internal kind of like extra set of responsibility for no extra pay that you get in the aspiration that you'll become a manager. But if
All
you
right.
say
So
team
it's
lead,
preparing you
people
for
would
the role.
understand. Yeah. But if you say team lead, people know what you're doing inside Salesforce. Like if I tell a manager, because it's a model that is being run in a bunch of other teams, not just mine. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So this is a good thing that we just discussed. So you were also the honorary trailhead ranger since 2016.
I'm not the only one. I mean, Trailhead Ranger is it's just like you get 100 badges on Trailhead. So I think I was one of the first. I don't remember what was that. I think it was the first 1,000 or something like that. But I can back it up with the number because I don't have evidence to show. But I was the first of the earlier ones that kind of did that. Now I'm a double trail ranger, so over 200 badges. So one thing I also ran, and I think my resume does not reflect that, is I didn't get a chance to update. It's called Product Council. So last year I was on something called a Product Council. So this is an initiative I ran. I mean, I was leading one of the domains, which was for app development. And in that domain, my job was to work with the product managers who are creating the products and help have those guys communicate with the solution engineers so they can come and tell us what they're building and they can take our feedback. What are we seeing in the field? So I ran that program or was part of it for like 1 year. You're supposed to be a TA to kind of do that, but I mean, given my technical background, they made an exception, and
Um,
I ran that.
I'm sorry, Fahad, the call disconnected at my end for some time. I apologize for the inconvenience. So I missed the whole last part that you were saying about the honorary trailhead ranger. Could you be so kind to repeat that?
Oh, so we had a bad connection.
I don't know what happened. Usually this doesn't happen, and you just
Okay,
went off hook for like a minute, and I was trying to figure out maybe the call dropped or something. But it seems that you were on the line. My side dropped. That's
okay,
strange.
okay. So let me pick that up. So the Trailhead Ranger portion, I was one of the earlier ones who kind of got that title. Now we have like thousands and thousands of people who kind of did that. I think I was probably under 1,000 or something like that kind of did it. I don't have a number that I can back it up with, but I would say one of the earlier ones that kind of got that. Um, so that was one. And did you hear about the product council?
No, no, I did not.
Okay. So
I missed all
last
of
year I
that.
also okay. So last year I also ran another program called Product Council. So I was the domain
Right.
owner for that. So in that program, my job was to work with the different PMs. Each of these domains had multiple pillars under them. So each of those pillars were like different people assigned, and they would work with the uh, product management. So the idea was that the product management every quarter will come and present to us in like different 45-minute segments, and people
All right.
before that will collect feedback and provide it to it. So I was managing that from the app dev domain perspective. So I was leading
Hmm.
that. I was doing monthly calls, making sure the SCs were kind of doing the work, and also helping out on a quarterly basis to curate the material, help with the SCs to get the work going, and
Hmm.
complete that. So I kind of did that last year.
And the impact that you were able to make?
So impact is that we were able to open communication lines with the product management. So now
All
product
right.
management would know what what we are seeing in the field, and they should be
Hmm.
coming up with features that are more sellable rather than something which is not practical. So we were able to provide that feedback, or what we call it, like if you see BS, I mean, you can call BS on it, like, okay, this thing does not
So
make sense. Yeah.
there would be improved alignment, and then again, that would kind of result in more sales, more customer traction.
Eventually it will, because now
Hmm.
we're helping with the product. Uh,
Hmm.
so now the product is going to be designed in a manner that it's going to be more. So we had some impact. I
Targeted.
would not really overstate it, because at the end of the day, it's also the leadership who decides what goes in and what goes not. But at least those guys were able to tell us. Now we're better equipped to tell our customers like what is coming down the pipe, and also tell these guys what are we seeing with our customers that could or couldn't work.
All right. So this would kind of like result in better, again, more aligned customer kind of like relationship. Would that be it or no?
Sorry, can you repeat yourself?
So I said that this would result in a more aligned customer relationship. Like you're all on the same
Uh,
page.
no, it won't be the customer. Yeah,
The
in a
user,
way,
the
you're just seeing.
in the
Yeah, so in a way, it's kind of like hybrid. Like, yeah, you're relaying what you're seeing with the customers to these guys who are building the product, and you're taking what you are seeing from the PMs to do the getting these guys to help what is coming down the pipe. Um, yeah.
So,
So
Fahad, you
yeah,
mentioned that this improved communication with the product development team, right?
yeah.
Was there, and I mean, uh, I'm just trying to get an idea of the before and after picture. Did this help set up new communication lines, or did it just help improve the existing communication lines with the product
No,
development team?
so this helped establish new communication lines, because prior to that, we sometimes had no idea who's doing what.
Right. So this was like uh, a kind of like new process implementation and improvement as well.
Yeah. So this was not a program that I designed. I just ran it. So
Right.
from a perspective, because this
Led it.
initiative came from a completely different team, but I was chosen to run it for from that perspective. So,
All right, that makes sense. And you also mentored three team members during the ramp period. Is that like, what is that about? Did we discuss this before? Or is
oh
this
yeah,
something
yeah.
new?
So no, we did not discuss before. So just like how I was helping the new person who was like directly like reporting to me to get him up to speed. So what happens is when you hire a new SC, solution engineer, they are not going to be in a position to like go in and start contributing. So what we do is we provide a ramp period. So in that ramp period, I like before I joined, when I was going through my ramp, I had just like some haphazard stuff. So I put together a document. Um, in that document, I put together like what are the resources, what are the things you need to do when you start at Salesforce. Things like how do you apply for your credit card, how do you get your VPN, how do you set up like basic stuff, like things like that. and then we set up
Mm-hmm.
goals like what you should be doing in the first 30 days, first 60 days, first 90 days, because you're required to do certain certifications, and then you do peer certs, and then you do get these guys, like mentor them. So I would have like a weekly call with these guys, get to assess their um, performance, like how it's like how not performance, like learning how that is going, and
Mm-hmm.
also including these guys. We call it a buddy program or something at Salesforce. So in that case, is we're just taking these guys along for a ride. I mean, just like you sit in the back of a cop car. I mean, they when you're applying for that, they take you around, show everything. So that's what we do. So these guys are in listen only mode. We will get them involved in opportunities where I will be responsible, but I'll be delegating some work to these guys so they learn
Mm-hmm.
about how things are kind of done, and also help them establish a relationship with their core teams and their AEs. And around 4 months, 5 months, that's where the mark is, when people are say, okay, now you're good to go, you can start working. So I help 3 people do that.
All right. And again, the impact, performance impact,
I mean,
the
all of those
improvement in the
guys.
before and after picture.
I mean, they were not ready for prime time to they were ready for being like independent at the time.
All right.
All of those guys got promoted. So I mean, two of them already made. One of them actually made master. One of them made principal. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
joined a different team, so he had a different track. But initially, I kind of helped him, and the other person also was joined as a senior, so he made a lead. So all of these guys are like successful. One of those guys still report to me. Um, uh, and I mean, these guys are now star performers in their respective.
Arenas. All right, that's a good aspect. And what about the current 2IC for Strat Platform SE team? Again, is this something different?
So 2IC was like less involved than the team lead. So prior to that, I was 2IC. So 2IC role was okay. You just shadow on certain things that the manager is kind of doing, and it was kind of funny that
Mm.
I never did anything with my manager on that aspect. I would be like a backup for him when he went on vacation. So if anybody needed any
Mhm.
like calls, or anybody needed support, or there was like some issues or communication, so you can just say that a very minimal, limited team lead role that I was kind of doing
Mhm.
prior to that. Just
Mhm.
filling in for him in case like he's out of pocket or he's traveling. But yeah, but the team lead is like way more involved. So just think of it as a very shrunken portion of it.
All right, all right. And very quickly, the contributions that you were able to make here. So you led the architecture and technical presentations that won the the Boeing logo. And then these are some of the clients, I assume that client projects that you worked on, right?
Yeah, so these are like deals that I help close. Um,
Hmm.
do you have any?
So
Is there
these
a
are their
way I can
clients,
share
right?
an email with you? I have a document that kind of lists all of that stuff, and it'll be hard for you to go over the phone with me on that. Um, or should I just send it to the
Yeah,
other Fatima
definitely.
through a link?
No,
Okay.
no, no, no. So I will be handling your case mainly. So this is how this process works. After you kind of like purchase the service, you are
Okay.
assigned a writer, and we work on different writers work on different client cases, and then when we prepare the whole thing for you, it goes through a rigorous editing process by Fatima Mirza, and then
Mhm.
we send you the final content. So all the information, I would suggest just send that back to me because I'll be working on this case on the preliminary basis. All right.
Okay.
So you can
That's fine.
you know use the same email address. So Fatma Mirza CC'd me in the email address in the email that she sent to you regarding the call prep document. So you can use that
So
same
you're
address.
Fatima
Sohail,
Sohail, right?
yeah. So it's
Okay.
Sohail at careertuners.com. And you can send me list of all the factual information because that will be helpful again.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
So,
sure.
so this is one thing
So
that you have to send me, and then you have to send me the keyword list, the updated keyword list. And one more thing that we discussed before. So that
yeah, that was
was
the Accelerate
the
program
management training
structure.
program. Yeah. Also, I understand that these are the area of your expertise, where you mentioned, Fahad, that you design and advise on application development on Force.com and Hiroko. We discussed this, and then you also advise on integration, security, application lifecycle management, mobile strategy, IoT, AI. These are